first episode of my new podcast, Finding My New Self at 58. So, I had been thinking about doing a podcast or a podcast, new podcast, because I had a business one I was doing maybe now, I guess a couple of years ago. My goodness, time flies. But anyway, this podcast came about through turning older and making some decisions about, who I am now. At 58, things change. And I started realizing that there was a new me that was emerging, and I needed to really explore and find that person, that new self. So, hence, finding my new self at 58. So, anyway, welcome to the first episode. And I know the title seems weird, but it is what I want to talk about. So, yes, how I found out I had a heart attack just about 2.5 weeks ago. I found out. Uh, I did not know that I had a heart attack. Uh, anyway, I was stunned to say the least. And I want to just talk about that a little bit as the first episode and, whatever else comes from that. These podcasts are just me. And so I don't know what I'm going to be saying. And, I'll start off with a topic, and knowing me, we're rambling to some other things, but bear with me. And I hope that, what I have to say can enlighten, touch, inspire, motivate, just make you laugh, make you smile, get you to thinking, you know, whatever it's supposed to do. I hope that that's my intent by these podcasts. So anyway, yes, heart attack, huh? So yeah, like I said, about 2.5 weeks ago now, on the date of this video, I went into a primary care doctor. I had not seen, let's just full transparency here. I had not seen a primary care doctor for many, many years. Let's just leave it at that. Way too many years. But I had not had insurance. And even when I had insurance, I was just not the type of person who, I'm not even gonna say type of person. I just did not have the mindset to go to the doctor and, get your regular exams and things of that nature. I just, had my GYN appointments and, did things through there, and that was it, because primarily I didn't have any issues that I knew of, at least even then, which now, like I said, is over 10 years ago that I had been to a primary care doctor. But let's just move to now, 2.5 weeks ago. Like I said, I can't get to rambling. So 2.5 weeks ago, I got a doctor's appointment. I finally have gotten insurance so that I can see a doctor. And the real reason that I was going is because I actually had a wrist issue. As you can see, I had my compression glove on, and I had an issue with my wrist going on with a lot of pain in particularly my right wrist. But both wrists were giving me pain, but the right was just, I mean, progressively just in pain constantly, and just really intense pain at times, even with the glove on. So I knew something was going on. And again, in my mind, again, we always playing our own doctor. I said, carpal tunnel, some arthritis, I'm of an age, da da da, So that's what I'm thinking. I'm going in, gonna get, find out what take get some pills. That's what I'm thinking. Some pills, maybe, told some other things, because again, I haven't been there a while, so I know I have to take some other tests and things of that nature. So I go in, and she, I explained to her I haven't seen a doctor in a while. She's like, oh my, well, we're going to have to get caught up, on some things. And so we go through the list. She told her about the wrist. That's my primary issue right now is this wrist. And she's like, oh, okay. So, she tested it out and I tell her my diagnosis, carpal tunnel, and she's like, no, I really don't think it's carpal tunnel. I more think it might be arthritis of some sort. And I'm like, oh, okay. Again, was not surprised to hear that if it was that, because, either or. So let's get an x-ray. She's like, let me give you a referral to an x-ray. So I'm like, okay, good, great. Meantime, she's like, let me give you some naproxen. Let me give you a prescription for naproxen. And, you can take that. It's going to be a little stronger than just the kind you get, over the counter. So that'll help with some of the pain. She gave me some other, ideas for, helping with the inflammation. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. So she says, and then, it was a later appointment. So she was like, had you eaten? I said, yes. So she was like, well, why don't you come back in and do a fasting, do your last fasting. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll come back in tomorrow morning, no problem. And she said, and then, and we'll do a urine today. But by the way, let's go ahead and get an EKG done, she says, just because you haven't had an appointment in a long time or anything done. As well, she gave me a referral for a mammogram, all of those things. So again, just let's check off the list. I said, okay. And I go back there and the technician does what she does. And I'm relaxed, I'm like, okay, wow, that was quick. And, she goes out, she comes right back in and she starts taking the leads off. And she's like, yeah, the doctor would like to talk to you before you leave. So I'm still saying, okay, nothing to do with this EKG, y'all. I'm thinking, oh, one more thing we need to check off the list that she wants to remind me of. So I have a seat, while she said, oh, she's with the another patient should be right with you. She pulls me into an empty exam room and she has the EKG. And again, I'm still not thinking she's going to say anything about this EKG. She looks at the EKG and she says, that's what she said. So I'm still like, okay. And she goes, have you had any chest pain or shortness of breath lately? And I'm like, no. So, because this EKG is very abnormal. I'm not okay now. I'm going, huh? Like what? Abnormal? She says, yeah. I said something about how the electric currents or, they go off there, not going in the direction they're not showing up on here on the direction they should be. Huh? So she goes, it really looks like you may have had a heart attack. Huh? What? A what? I'm like, a what? And she says, yeah, I think you may have had a heart attack, but I'm going to go ahead, you're not having, you have, I said, no, no. And so she says, well, I'm not going to send you to the emergency room right now, but, if you have any chest pains or, real shortness of breath, I need you to call 911. I was here for my wrist. What are we talking about? And what do you mean? I had a heart attack. So she's like, we're just going to go ahead and get you to a cardiologist and, we'll get you a referral and let's see if we can get you in right away. So I'm like, okay, again, I'm still in the back of my mind going, okay, she has just read this EKG wrong. It's a fluke. Okay, because I'm coming here for this. Hello, little arthritis, some naproxen, we're going to be all right, That's what I'm thinking. So she says, oh, so, I get the referral and, oh, thank goodness, the referral was able to get me in. And I think just like this was maybe a Thursday and the cardiology appointment ended up being maybe like a Wednesday or something, Tuesday or Wednesday. So it was real quick, they got me in. So thank God for that. So I go into there, and again, I'm in the back of my mind still saying, Fluke, it just read wrong something, right? Couldn't have possibly have had a heart attack and have some kind of, issue going on with me with my heart. So anyway, I go to the cardiologist. They do the EKG. As a matter of fact, they take two. So I'm like, okay, two EKGs. Well, whoa, what's going on here? So anyway, I still trying to be, positive about the whole thing. And he comes, so the cardiologist comes in and he's like, yeah, so we've had a heart attack. And I'm like, what? Are you sure? Like, are you sure? Like, how could I have had a heart attack and not know it? And he says, yeah, with women, sometimes that could happen. It can show up in different ways and not necessarily what, we, normally, perceive as a heart attack or symptoms of a heart attack. And I'm just stunned, y'all. I'm literally stunned. I kind of hear the rest of what he's saying, and he's like, okay, so we're going to you definitely had it. I'm like, when? He's like, I don't know. We need to have, get you in for a sonogram and see if you can do a stress test so we can see what the damage is. The damage, I'm just still sitting there with you. Yeah, it's confirmed. You've had a heart attack. I was coming in for my wrist. Like, what? And so I say this, so just kind of let you know where I'm going now. Now, like I said, this is all like 2.5 weeks ago. So now we are tomorrow having these tests. The sonogram and the stress test. See if I can do a stress test. But we definitely having the sonogram and see what exactly has been happening. And in the meantime, also, we discover that I am hypertensive. I hadn't had that problem either. So my pressure was real high there. I still thought it was, you know, just the nervousness, the being at a doctor, but they took it several times and it still was high. And so he, gave me some medicine for that to start. So again, I can't, when I went to the doctor 2 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago, I was the person who took maybe an Aleve or two a day. It because of the pain in my wrist. Otherwise, nothing, a multivitamin, some kind of, emergency or something, for the immune. But that's it. Literally, that's it. 58. That was it. So I thought, okay, I need to lose weight, but overall, my, normal health is has to be pretty good. That was my idea. Little did I know, I have cardiac issues, and like overnight, it seems like overnight this has happened. And so um tomorrow, I find out, what if whatever the situation is. So and then on top of that, we did this week, last week, go back to the wrist, which was the main issue. So we had x-rays done and then got referred to an orthopedic hand specialist. Again, I was like, a hand specialist, what are we talking about? What? A hand specialist? So she, we got to see a hand specialist because of what was in the report of the x-ray. So I go Thursday, just this past Thursday, a few days ago, to finally to orthopedic hand specialist. So then he comes in, and again, she knew the arthritis. The report said arthritis, but no one had seen the images, but the radiologist. So the orthopedic referral, he comes in and some pieces of paper or print out of my images. And he's like, well, we know why we know why you having all this pain in your wrist. So I'm still thinking he's just gonna say, okay, maybe arthritis, confirming arthritis. That's it, right? Well, he confirms arthritis and severe, he says in your wrist. And we definitely gonna have to get left X-rays, soon because again, he knows all about the cardiology stuff going on right now. But he says, but there's more. He says, you have torn the ligament in your wrist almost completely. Huh? What are we talking about here? Huh? Torn ligament in the wrist? Oh, he brings the picture out, shows me how the gap where my ligament was supposed to be, it's gone, torn, just torn. And the arthritis, has pretty much, I got bone on bone. That's why it's hurting so bad. And the clicks you hear when you move your hand a certain way. And, I got to the point it hurt to even, I was filling out all of these medical forms now, go there, you write out. It started to hurt to write. I had really been writing because, most things we do is on computer and all that, your phone. And it was hurting to write. So he was saying that's why, because those bones are all kind of just rubbing up against each other. They don't have any much cartilage there, and your ligaments pretty much gone. And I'm once again stunned. Like, and he says I have SLAC wrist, SLAC wrist stage 2. Ain't but 3 stages, y'all. Now I'm at stage 2. And I really only think there's but 2 reading on it because the third is something else really it runs into. But anyway, so he's like, that's what you got. It's going to require surgery, due to that. And then he tells me he doesn't think that happened anytime soon. That was probably something that happened. I had probably done some type of damage and trauma and stress to my wrist. Wrist, because he pretty much sure the same as on here, just hasn't progressed to the same as my right. But he's like, that's gonna be surgery. And yeah, so but we can't even do any of that yet because we got to deal with good old heart here right now. Um I'm not making light of it, people. I have to keep myself in some peace about these things because Lord knows I can't stress myself out right now, right? I mean, that just be absolutely the worst thing I can do because your body, why you get stuff in your body is through some type of stress or trauma to it. So I do this video and birth this podcast now to kind of keep the myself positive and to keep myself sane right now, because I don't want to go where your mind can take you when you hear news like this. And share this because one, if you, anybody listening, have not had, regular doctor appointments, not because something's wrong, but because you need those exams done and regular routine appointments. Now I get it. Like I get now why you need them. Sounds silly that it would take me this long to kind of really piece it together. But sometimes, um, that thing has to hit you like a brick, you know what I mean? And so that's why I said it just pushed forward the podcast of finding my new self. And, I'll be back to talk to you more about where I'm at, where I'm going in the health side of things. I'll share that because I think it's important. Maybe someone else is not thinking that, is thinking they're okay too. I thought it was okay, other than my wrist. I thought, okay, we're going to get some pills and we're going to fix that. Not that I know I would sit here and have cardiac issues, hypertension issues, Um, Now I have some type of orthopedic issue with my wrist and have to have some type of surgery down the line. um, where does that go? Where does that mean? So I don't even want to go there. I just want to go, everything is manageable. So far, everything anybody's told me is manageable. And my faith stands strong on that everything is manageable and that everything is all in all working together for my absolute best, my absolute good. So, but I do want to say and remind anyone listening, please see your doctor regularly if you can. If you are in a situation like me where insurance is an issue and it's costly, find a clinic, something to go and get those routine um, tests and things done. I don't even care what age you are at this point because I think we need to be about our health. I need it to be about my health. I now need to absolutely be about my health. So you're going to go on that journey with me through this podcast that I get right with my health. I'm getting right with myself, finding my new self. There's so many things I had started putting in motion. I had gotten a life coach. They end up getting, being blessed to get a program that gave me a life coach for a year free. So that's something I had never had before, wanted to have. I had made some decisions about what I wanted to do. And, all those things are still going to happen. This is just a hiccup, as far as I'm concerned, about just a hiccup in the little road, a little detour I have to take before I can, refocus myself on those those decisions I had made in finding my new self. So, just want to send out positive love vibes to everyone, and send them back to myself, and then, I'll be back to let you guys know what's happening. And I know that it's going to be okay. But I want everybody to be okay. So that's why I'm sharing this as the first episode of Finding My New Self at 58. See you later.